Hello everybody, it's Colrain Tarot. I'm back with another Tarot Pick a Card. So today the question that I'm asking is, what do you need to let go of? We're about to go into Venus retrograde, which is beginning in early May, so we probably have another week or two, so we're definitely hitting the shadow period of this time. Venus retrograde has a big impact on all of our relationships, specifically past relationships. You may have like exes coming back, old friends, just family relationships kind of breaking down and seeing where there may be cracks in the foundation of these significant relationships in your life. So I wanted to begin by lighting this candle, and I chose blue today for speaking out higher truth and being able to connect fully with our method of communication with our guides and our angels. And if you're open to energy work over distance and time, I would like to just spray this lavender spray to kind of create some peace in your aura field so that you can be in a good place to enable you to receive these messages more clearly and with an open heart. So I'm going to set this down over here and I'll introduce the piles. So as you cast your gaze across these three piles, this is pile 1 with a purple shell, pile 2 with a bumblebee charm, and pile 3 with this little fire opal. So I encourage you to take some mindful breaths as you decide which pile is holding a message for you so that you can get more in touch with your guides, your angels, the universe, whoever would like to communicate with you today, and however you interpret communication from a higher source. So otherwise, we're going to move into pile 1. Hello, pile 1. So if you chose pile 1, this is going to be your reading on what can I let go of right now in my life to help serve me better going into the next couple weeks, or what can I focus on within the next couple weeks in terms of letting go of things and moving into new cycles. So sometimes when we let go, it can be something that is pretty dramatic, and other times when we have to let go of things, it can be something that we realize and we have had some intuition about this situation. We know that we need to let go. And we may have known that we needed to let go for quite some time by the time that we get to this point. So if you've ever watched any of my other tarot videos, a lot of times I really like to read something from the Dhammapada, which is just a collection of the Buddhist teachings. And I think even if you aren't Buddhist, this wisdom a lot of times just pertains to the reading in general and can give me a little bit more of an idea of what area of life you need to focus on. So let's flip. Thousands. A single wise word bringing peace to the listener is worth more than 1,000 speeches full of empty words. A single verse full of meaning, bringing peace to the listener, is worth more than 1,000 verses full of empty words. So this passage, or that passage, thousands, specifically talks about like just trying to indulge in too much information, trying to get more information out of anything that's trying to communicate with you, whether it be a person or you're just searching for messages from the universe specifically. You're just kind of like in a place where you're searching and you may already know the answer. So this is giving me an insight. I'm having kind of like a high priestess image pop into my head where it's like you already know the answer. And but I do want to give you some more clarity on this situation since you are seeking out clarity, but I feel like you already know what you need to let go of and you have some intuition about it. So I've already gotten some of the cards. I'm going to put this shell up here. And I think I'm going to start with these cards from Sacred Geometry Activations Oracle. So we have the Cosmic Flower, Fertility. Let me get these fully out of the way. Emergence. And this one flew out. And we have Transition. So far, what I started to pick up was that your brain is kind of in the process of doing gymnastics. So your mind is kind of flipping around and trying to make sense of the situation by also seeing how flexible it is, seeing how much it can fit into a certain role, into a certain relationship specifically. I'm definitely understanding, based on just the feeling that I've gotten from this pile so far, that you have a relationship in your life that doesn't necessarily fit there. It's like trying to stick the old expression, the round peg in a square hole, or the square peg in a round hole, whatever it is. It's just something doesn't fit and it's not meant to be there. And I feel like that's something that's really difficult for you to accept, because you may really care about this person, you may have a long history with this relationship, and you may have an attachment to the outcome of this relationship. You may see that you want to like do something in the future, you may have made plans with this person in the future, but something is just not fitting right now. And through this experience that you're going through at the moment, you're realizing that this person is in like the relationship as it currently is, it can't progress farther into the future because it can't get through this like portal that has kind of been opened at this moment in time. I feel like I'm getting like the vision of like when you're driving on a highway and there's like a really short bridge and you're driving like a really tall car, right? The car, certain part of it can't go through and it's gonna need to get chopped off in order to get through this bridge. And I feel like this moment in time, and this time period in your life, is kind of acting like that bridge to withhold that certain aspect of your life from being able to be carried through. With this fertility card, this is talking about something being reborn, or something not even being reborn, it's just something new emerging with both of these cards. This is talking about a fruitful future, something beautiful and really beneficial coming forward in the future months that are coming. I feel like this may be for some of you like in the next month to 2 months. Also, I just want to mention, I apologize for the background noise. I have to film outside and I can't really help when my neighbors are kind of doing like yard work things and things like that. So hopefully it's not too much of a distraction. But I just thought that I'd mention that so that you know that I am aware that that's happening, but I can't really do much about it. So the cosmic flower here also talks about our home life. This may be somebody that you are married to. For some of you, this may be the other person is married. Just for some of you, or children are specifically involved in this, because this is talking about the remembrance of the place we call home. But I feel like also this may be something where for a select few of you, like if it's not having to do with like home life in the physical world, this also has to do with your specific calling, like what your higher purpose is, what your higher self is trying to communicate to you, because our higher selves communicate to us in funny ways, in ways that we don't even recognize sometimes, like, oh, this is from my higher self. It's more of like a feeling, or something that you just instinctively know. I don't know if I feel like you may be somebody that's really trying to heighten your intuition or your psychic abilities at this moment, and so this is kind of like a test of, can you listen to your guidance when it comes to you? So with this transition card, this one I think is the most like grounded card in this situation, that is really trying to communicate to you what is actually happening right now. With this transition right here, this is referring to a time in our life, like that bridge analogy that I gave earlier, a time in our life where things have to be transformed. And I'm thinking that this like S right here is reminding me of a snake, or a progression of things as well, because the dots kind of move from one to the next. And I'm also thinking of the game Chutes and Ladders, so I don't know if that has any significance to any of you, but Chutes and Ladders is something where you go up the you go up the ladders, and then if you land on a chute, you gotta go back down. So I feel like this relationship in some way you feel like you are making progression, you'll go up like a ladder, and then you immediately hit a chute and you end up back where you were. And I feel like it's just kind of a cyclical thing where you're realizing, okay, I'm not getting anywhere with this situation. This person is holding me back. This is something where I want to ascend. I want to move forward. I want to make better choices for myself, choose myself, make choices in my life that are beneficial for my health, beneficial for my mental state. Even that could even be your mental health. I feel like a lot of you are trying to get rid of habits or create routines that are going to benefit you in the long run, and this person may not be willing to move into the same place and may not be willing to leave those other things behind. And with this transition, it says allow transition to occur with ease and grace. We have to surrender to the process, and this even says the words let go on this card. So I feel like this is something that if you create resistance within yourself regarding this situation, it is only going to make more of like tension. It's going to make it so that you end up in situations where you feel powerless and you feel helpless and you get really frustrated with yourself. And I don't want any of you to end up feeling that frustration for yourselves. Sometimes we have to go through things that make us feel frustrated with ourselves, but I want to help you be able to ease that pain that you end up making yourself feel sometimes when you end up in situations where you know that you're not meant to be there. When we're not meant to be there, there are things that just don't align, and we realize that. There may be situations where like timing is kind of getting thrown off between you and this person. Future plans are coming up that just don't align, and you start to recognize that. Also, just listening to your feelings. If you're around this person and you have like an emotion that kind of arises within, I'm getting the feeling for a lot of you, maybe in your stomach is where spirit is trying to communicate to you through your emotional body right now. It's like a discomfort in your stomach, that like anxiety feeling in your stomach, or feeling like, okay, well, it's like kind of accompanied with that mind feeling where you're like, okay, I'm not really sure, kind of questioning things like that. Let's get into your tarot cards. So we have King of Wands or King of Bows, Eight of Pentacles, and the Woodward. And then we have down here the Wheel. I want to make sure that this is all in frame. So they're kind of covering the other cards. Maybe I'll move this down here a little bit, but okay, that's the best I can do right now. But King of Wands, I feel like this is this person, and again with the snakes, I feel like this is possibly you have a physical relationship with this person. For some of you, this may be the case, but with others of you, at least I know that the foundation of this relationship, like this represents that person, and this person, they may not be really compassionate in this situation, and you may be understanding that this person may not be thinking for your highest good, kind of acting selfishly. I'm getting the idea of like sometimes snakes can be a good sign, a sign of transformation, like shedding the skin, moving into something new. But I feel like in this case, the snake here is kind of almost like a temptation or a tempter, somebody that does not really think of the greatest good of everyone involved. I'm getting like Adam and Eve, like the snake in the garden, that kind of a thing. Something, and that also relates to devil energy, and devil energy is something that holds us down and holds us back. With the Eight of Pentacles here, the word skill is on this card. And this is somebody that is alone, kind of doing work by themselves. And I feel like this relates to you trying to work on yourself, trying to improve your situation, trying to improve your life path, and improve the way that you are spiritually. And this person is just not there to help you. And even though I'm getting like the idea that they've left their mark, they've given that contribution of something that helps you to understand like what their purpose is in your life in a way, and you're starting to recognize, okay, this person was here to leave this kind of lesson for me, to help me, guide me on my path, and help me understand where I am at in my like intuition, in my psychic abilities, in the way that I also select and allow certain relationships to have an impact on me. I feel like with the wheel, this is always talking about like the wheel always turns, the cycles always change. This relates to this transition card. This is something where your emotions and your higher self, like your understanding of like your identity, are kind of aligning, and they're coming together to try and push you forward and weave a new web, like weave more things into your life journey. Also, with this wheel card, I'm seeing that this shirt is unfinished. It's not done yet, and I feel like you know that if you kept this person around, if you kept this relationship as one of your close relationships in your life, then this relationship is going to keep you in this place of being unfinished, not help you reach your highest potential. And the Woodward card talks about, this is a deviation from the normal interpretation of tarot. Okay, sorry about that. This is a deviation from the normal interpretation of tarot, and it talks about the inevitability of a situation kind of reaching the point that it's at. And this card is also like talking about inner strength, taking the lesson from it with the lynx here. The lynx represents a lesson that you learn, like kind of, it's like school in a way, like education. But also I feel like this card specifically, when I first saw it, I knew that it is a spirit guide that is with you right now. And I feel like this is a spirit guide that is temporary, but is guiding you through a certain transition period in your life. It's really connected to this transition. I feel like these cards are on the bottom for a reason, because they're all connected. This spirit guide is leading you through this transition, and it may be something that is painful. Like, this is a hunter. This is somebody who is strong, warrior energy. This spirit guide may be an ancestor as well for some of you, but this is somebody that really cares about you and deeply cares about your life journey and your life path and where you are headed, and they want to see you reach that success. And with this eagle up here, I'm seeing it's like the eagle eye, like they have the ability to detach from the situation and see the higher purpose and see things from a more detached perspective. So I think that's all I'm getting for you, pile one. Actually, I want to ask one more thing. What can pile one look forward to in the future? Okay, and we have death. So this is the journey. And with this card, this is showing that, look at this crow is even pulling a piece off of this. Like, this is things being removed so that you can continue on your journey, so that you can reach your highest potential. But also, since death is the card that's like midway through the major arcana and it's not quite at the world, it's like the climax. It's at the point it's like the point in the movie where the hero has something tragic happen, something like seemingly negative happens to them before they can fully reach like the end of their journey and be at a place where they are really where they're meant to be and fulfilling their highest potential. So this is just a transition period in your life, pile one. This is some situation that you will be so much better off with these emergence and fertility. Like, definitely something really bright is coming in your future. So I hope that this resonated. I hope that this helped you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. Hello, pile two. So if you chose pile two, this is going to be a reading on what do I need to let go of, what will, if I allow it to leave my life or make the necessary steps to bring this out of my life, how will this influence me in the future, and how will I be able to follow and align with my path. Sometimes we have things that are kind of like blockages in our life, energetic like sucks. They pull things out of our energetic field that we need in order to be able to move forward effectively and carry out our life path in the best and highest possible way with our like higher purpose. So I've already pulled this one card for you guys, but I wanted to do the shuffling on camera a little bit. So what does the pile two viewers need to hear in terms of what they can let go of? What kind of blockages are in their life? How do you want to communicate with them? Pile 2's view, spirit guides. Okay, and we had these both come out upright. So we have the 2 of Wands or 2 of Bows, which says decision, and then the 4 of Pentacles reversed, which says protection. This is the card that came out initially. 3 of Wands, fulfillment. And then we have the King of Arrows or King of Swords, and I'm just moving these up so that you can see everything. And we have the Green Man. So the first thing I'm noticing here is that we have the 2 of Wands and then we have the 3 of Wands. So it's like the progression, but in between it we have the 4 of Pentacles, which is protection. And I feel like this is the only reverse card, and rather than being a blockage, I see this card as being an abundance of protection. You may have been praying or asking your guides for a certain level of protection or a spirit guide to come through. You may be doing archangel work as well. That's something that I'm picking up on with this group. But you are somebody that is very, it's like you're very discerning of who you allow into your reality, what kind of people you keep around you. You're not just going to let a large group of people be all in on your business. Like, you're kind of secretive, I guess, in that way, and private. And you are very worried about being susceptible to lower vibrational energies right now. And I think that that is something that is a gift or a skill of yours rather than something that you need to feel bad about. And I think that your guides are coming through to kind of give you that confirmation that you are being protected. And even if you haven't asked for this, you are being protected, even through as you let go of things. Because when we let go, it also creates vulnerability in our energetic field. It leaves holes that could be fulfilled by like other things that maybe we don't want. And I don't want to say that to disempower anybody or make anybody feel worried about what they are accepting in, but right now, like, you do have that protective shield around you. You have guides that are guiding things outside of your control to bring you the highest abundance and your greatest good. And that's also being reflected here with the 3 of Bows fulfillment. This is like you making decisions and being very decisive. The only thing that your guides are asking you to do right now is to be decisive. Have discernment. If you're having a lot of, I feel like for this group, it's not even letting go of a specific thing. I feel like it's letting go of the idea that you are not enough, that you don't have the capability to understand what is best for you. I feel like you are a very in touch and in tune person with your intuition, with your skill set towards making the right decisions, knowing where you need to be on your path, and you are definitely on the right path. If you don't recognize that, like, you really are with this 2 of Wands. This is like making the decision to go down the right path, and I feel like this is you in the past. You did make some kind of decision that really fueled you onto the into the right energy state, and you probably already have let go of a lot. And so Spirit is telling you, you don't really need to make all that many adjustments. You just need to make more of a mindset adjustment where you are understanding that you are enough. You do have the capability and the strength and the protection and all of that in order to chase anything that you need to go after. And with the King of Swords here, this is also just being really decisive. You are a very decisive person, and also when you recognize that something isn't serving you, I feel like you already have that capability to just kind of cut it and leave. And you are the type of person that it's like no nonsense. You are quick moving, especially this is, I believe, a hummingbird, or no, it's a kingfisher, but this is like a smaller bird. This is something that's fast, quick-witted. They have like this. I actually want to read something from the book, and I usually don't do this, but I feel like it's really necessary with this card. Yeah, so this is about cutting things out. So this is the key words in this is intelligence, strength, watchfulness, counseling, the ability to judge true from false. So I feel like there may You do have a very clear sense of intuition, and you know when things need to be left behind. And I feel like for some of you, you may have a little bit of like that doubt. It's more of like a self-doubt in yourself and your ability to be able to leave these things behind. And it may be for a lot of you like diet changes that you're kind of on the fence about. Like, make that decision. If you're having an intuition to do it, make that. Also, for others of you, I feel like a lot of you are very earthy, Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo, and if you're not, you just care a lot about the earth and about the environment in which you're in, and making those changes to your environment and respecting your environment is something that some of you may be kind of struggling with. So that may be like fighting with like consumerist habits that you've kind of put in place, like shopping a lot, or making decisions to like buy material goods that kind of clog up your environment or are not good for the earth, things like that. Those kind of decisions are things that I feel like you're really being called to make right now, and make just conscious choices, conscious decisions when you're being a consumer of things. And that also can go for the media that you consume as well. Those kind of things, they're more like changes and like the things that you need to let go, or like these ideas that you have to fit into a certain role that you've always been playing, or fit into this environment of like media or way of thinking. Like I feel like in America especially, a lot of us are kind of put into the idea that, or like the role, I guess, that we have to be constantly buying new things or using a lot of plastic and like single-use plastic, that kind of a thing, like this waste that kind of accumulates, and we're just like constantly consuming, using, and then throwing it away. And the same goes with media as well. If you're putting like junk in, you're ending, it's gonna have some kind of like waste effect on you. And that also goes with like the food that you eat as well. It's just this like cycle of like consume, use, and then waste. And the more that you can find a way to reuse things and use things that you get nourishment and nutrition, like soul, mind, body, all of that, like that nutrients from, the better that you're going to feel in the long run. With the green man here, the green man, I feel like, is representing you in your like personality, in the way that you are a very warm person, but you're also going to be very like, it's like you're externally warm. You don't put on a fake front, and you are a person that is really enjoyable to be around. And I feel like regardless of the changes that you make, I feel like you might be worried about how others are going to perceive you in this change that you end up making. But I feel like this is spirit kind of guiding you and remembering you. People still love you, and people are going to understand that your unique and beautiful nature is not going to be changed because you are this generous and warm person. People are going to recognize, okay, this person kind of walks to the beat of their own drum, and I respect them for it. And finally, I just pulled these 3 cards for you guys. We have allowance, passion, and communication. So I feel like this card specifically, the passion, is talking about how your emotions communicate to you, understanding that when, like, just pay attention to the way that your emotions are trying to get you to recognize where certain things, like, I feel like your emotional body is the one that is really, your spirit guides are really using to communicate with you about certain situations and about which things you need to release and let go of. The allowance here is also it's like freeing up your ego mind on the control that you have over things that come in and out. Understanding that the more that you are willing and able to allow things to kind of flow in and out naturally, the more that you are going to feel satisfaction in the path that you're on. Because sometimes we're in natural points where like there are those growing pains where things kind of are a little bit more difficult to get used to, but once we get used to them, it's like the new normal. You know, it's like nothing ever changed, and the quicker that you can understand that things are ever changing and the impermanence of a situation, the quicker that you can feel okay and peaceful with the decisions that spirit is making in terms of your life path. Communication also, I feel like, relates to this passion card. So this is talking about how your guides are communicating with you, and just allowing your emotions to really be the things that give you that understanding of where you're at and what you need to do to move forward. So this was a longer reading than I expected, but I feel like you guys are definitely on the right path and you are being protected in everything. So whatever you allow to leave your life and whatever you bring in is going to be for your greatest good, and you are on the right path. So just listen to your intuition, listen to your emotions as they arise, and you are doing wonderful. So thank you, pile 2. I will see you in the next video. All of my information is below as always, and otherwise I'm going to move into pile 3. Hello, pile 3. So different than the other piles, I actually already pulled all your cards and I laid them out for you so that you can see the spread the entire time. I wanted to begin by reading you something from the Dhammapada to help you have a little bit more insight on the situation. So here we have, neither good looks nor a glib tongue make a man attractive if he is envious, stingy, and dishonest. However, once he has cut down and rooted out these traits and found wisdom, then he can be called attractive. So that's also regardless of gender. This book is just older, you know, so because it was written by the Buddha, this is in a more patriarchal society. We're still kind of in a patriarchy, if you ask me, but we're headed in hopefully the right direction. But anyway, that passage is just about, regardless of how you look, regardless of what you try and be, until you have truly found wisdom within yourself and have tried to understand the life path in which you're on, you're not going to be able to find that wisdom and be fully and truly attractive of what you desire, or not even what you desire, but what is meant for you. And that was actually, like, the word attractive was really what I got when I meditated on this pile before I started filming. And I feel like right now, like, you've kind of been in this energy right here where it's the 9 of Swords, the 5 of Cups, and then the Sun in reverse. And I feel like these 3 cards are encapsulating just where you've been, like, mental wise. Like, you've just been ruminating on the same thoughts, kind of blaming yourself for them, seeing the lack. It's like a lack mindset, seeing where things have just not aligned for you, seeing where past situations have played out negatively. And I feel like this may be relating to a certain romantic situation, or what you saw as like a failed romantic situation. And I feel like this also may be with an earth sign of some sort. I'm just getting earth energy regarding the person that may be involved in this situation. And if it's not a romantic situation, it's also could be a family situation where somebody just, it fell short. Something happened that just disappointed you. And I feel like once you're an adult and you feel disappointment for somebody, it is just really hard to come back from that, and really hard to see the situation in a new light. Or this person may have been disappointed in you, and that's why you've been feeling really difficult and hard on yourself. And I feel like pile 3, the big message of what you need to let go of is this self-talk that is blaming and that makes you feel like you are just not good enough, like you have not done enough. Because I'm here to tell you that, like, in this past situation, you did everything you could, and the reason why it's gone right now, or it's moved into something different, is because there is nothing else that you could have done differently in that situation. Even if you were meant to do something different, or you had the opportunity to do something different, like, obviously you weren't meant to do that something different, you know what I mean? Like, even though I just said you were meant to do something different, I mean, like, even if you feel that you were meant to do something different, you did not end up doing that something different, so it was not meant to be, if that makes sense. I really like the interpretation of the Nine of Swords and the Five of Cups in this deck because they give room for the transformation and seeing the beauty that comes out of a disappointing or a unfulfilling situation. You can see how even the negative emotions are trying to help you transform things. And with this dedication on the Nine of Swords here, this is talking about being dedicated to your own spiritual growth, the evolution of yourself, the evolution of understanding the current situation that you're in, the life path that you're on. And with the Sun of Life here, I feel like this is definitely like telling you to take a break, relax, understand that your heart, because there's also the heart here, like your heart is involved in this situation, and you may have had some like really strong emotions regarding this situation. Something just happened that's weighing heavy on your heart, and it's affecting the way that you love yourself as well. And there is a positive message that was really strong for me as I started tapping into this pile's energy, with down here this being all the future energy. We have card 14, which is also the Justice card, and it says balance. And I feel like this is you coming into a new connection that is just a lot more balanced. And the Miracle card, this is also relating to like whatever this situation is going to be, whether it be a romantic connection or just a mending of a connection. If this is with like a family member or a friend, something is going to come into a more harmonious like level of like reciprocated energy. You are manifesting something that is really beautiful and really like just a lot more understanding of both like the good and the bad sides of life, and it's just going to be a lot more grounded and a lot more, it's going to be even. Like it's going to be different than this situation that you've been really like stuck on. It's going to be, I feel like these fears that you hold regarding like the way that things might always play out, I feel like this past situation definitely has to do with a lot of karma bonds, things that are kind of beyond your control, and things that are there to teach you about just life lessons in general, not even specifically ways that you caused that to come about. You may have caused it to come about in like past lives, things that you don't understand, but it's not necessarily to say that you deserve it. It's just to show you how different situations in life can make people feel, and you've already learned that lesson, but I don't want those lessons to make it turn into something where you think, okay, well, I'm just not, like, nothing's ever going to be this way. Like, there's something about like the pessimism that accompanies this, like being stuck in this like energy where you think like, okay, well, life or relationships always have to be this way, nothing's going to be good, like love doesn't exist, those kind of things. Those negative beliefs or limiting beliefs keep you from being able to manifest this like miraculous relationship that really wants to come to you. There's something that really like you deserve, like you're attracting it in most times, but when you turn back and you go back into those limiting beliefs because you think on the past and you let the past influence your present, you can't move forward, and it's harder. You like it's like delaying the gratification, delaying your own blessings. With this compassion, I feel like also this is something that once you have compassion for yourself in the situation and you understand that your emotions, like the way that you feel, like you validate it for yourself, and you also don't judge the situation or like label it as good or bad, and you just see it as, okay, well, that happened, and you like see it for what it was and recognize that you've gotten the lessons from it, you are going to be able to like be in this place of compassion for like the other person as well, and also for yourself. I feel like that's something that you really need right now, is compassion for yourself and compassion for the situation that unfolded before and how it ended up making you feel. So pile 3, what you need to let go of is the idea that your past is defining your future, and that you just inherently attract negativity. Because if you believe that, obviously, like, it's going to fulfill itself, and it's going to you're going to end up attracting more negativity if that is what you believe is true. But your guides are trying to tell you right now that that's not true, and that you need to have a little bit more compassion for yourself and more compassion for how all of the different circumstances played into that situation, and it wasn't necessarily just because of you. It also could be things that the other person needed to learn as well. So just know that you have a miracle coming your way, and that something beautiful is going to be in your reality soon, as long as you continue to believe that you are deserving of blessings and wonderful things. So all of my information is going to be in the description as usual. Otherwise, I hope that you have a blessed day and a lovely afternoon. I'll see you in the next video. Bye, Pile 3.